If you're a marketing agency and you've been looking for a new way to generate leads going into 2026 that actually works, you're in the right place. In this video, I'm going to break it down in 3 steps how you can set up an actual successful setup that adds 10 to 40 qualified sales meetings to your calendar so you can close around 5 to 6 deals a month or even more, maybe a little bit less. Let's get into it. The results we've gone with the system kind of speaks for itself. So Fortune 100 company closed and 44 enterprise leads in just over 3 months generated for global product source. We helped Be Good Media and SEO agency close 28K and generate 25 leads in 2 weeks. We've helped a chief CMO close 17.9K and generate 38 leads in 2 weeks. So you kind of know this stuff works already, but let's get into the specifics. So which channel should you use? What are we actually using here? So there's 3 options. There's paid ads, there's content, and there's cold outreach. Content like we're doing now, basically. But the thing about the paid ads is that it's too expensive, to be honest, and it requires some sort of time and effort to actually get going. The results are fast, but it's just very expensive. You actually have to put in effort and know how to build a funnel and all that stuff, right? As for content, the costs are low, so you don't really pay much. You just have to have a camera and like record videos, but the time and effort is kind of the same, but results are very slow, right? It takes like 6 months to actually start getting leads to the door if you're posting consistently. For cold outreach, costs are medium and time and effort is medium, and the results are fast. So it's kind of the best of both worlds, and that's exactly why we choose it. But depending on the resources you have, obviously, you might have a lot of time, a lot of money, and no time. Paid ads is the way to go. But for most of you, you probably have some time, some investment to actually put into something, and you want to see results quick. So cold outreach is the one for you, basically. But all these three methods kind of work for most industries, right? So yeah, let's get into it. It also costs around $500 to $800 a month to run cold email, or cold outreach. So it's not too expensive, and you can actually book like a ton of calls doing it. So let me show you how to do it. So there is a channel that you have to use within cold outreach. You can't just do all of them because they're pretty different and they require effort each, and they're different skill sets. So the issue with cold calling is you just need to hire like 2 to 3 good salespeople if you want to be booking a decent number of meetings a month. And I know this because our main acquisition channel at NetSwick is literally cold calling, but it is very logistically intense. We just happen to be good at it, so that's why we do it. But you have to hire reps, train them, maintain them, all that stuff. And also with all the AI like phone answering that's coming out, like the one Apple released, is gonna get like increasingly more difficult to reach decision makers over the phone. So it's probably not the best channel to start from scratch unless you're like targeting home services and your target audience just responds super well with it, and you're willing to build a call center basically or pay an agency to do it. But for cold email and DMs, both can work well. With cold email, it's kind of unmatched because there's no volume limitation essentially if you're following deliverability protocols, and it just allows you to not have to have a bunch of overhead, which is the same for cold DMs, but here it's like limited to around 20 to 100 messages per day. I don't know the specifics, but that just means less meetings. So with cold email, it kind of combines the best of both worlds as well, because it's more profit because you don't have to hire like an internal cold caller, but it's also more meetings because you can send more emails without getting like banned on LinkedIn or whatever. So let's get into the actual systems. Now that we've decided, okay, we're going to do cold email, we're going to have cold outreach as a channel, cold email as the within channel. Let's get into what makes a successful cold email system. So there's 3 pillars that we go about when we kind of think about cold email. There is how you send emails, the emails that you send, and then the people you send the emails to. If you can get these 3 right, you are going to make more money. It's like a rule. So yeah, let's get into it. So first thing is the sending infrastructure. So to send a high volume of emails, you're going to need lookalike domains. Because once they burn, like which is typical after 3 months, you don't want your main domain landing in spam. So you have to buy domains that are similar to your main one. Then you have to create your email accounts. So we recommend like 2 per domain. We just consistently get high reply rates across clients for the most part, and it's usually worked for us well. And these are basically like the symbol before. So it's like the email account, actually the inbox. And then you have to plug all those inboxes with domains into a platform that's going to use them to send the automated emails at high volume. So let's get into the actual specifics. For the domains, we recommend you basically get 25 of them. If you get 25, you can create 2 email accounts per domain. yeah, 50 email accounts essentially, and you can send 1,000 emails. You don't want to create multiple emails under the same domain. It's like 3 emails or 4 emails, email inboxes under the same domain. That's just going to make them burn faster. So we recommend getting 25. And the way you can do this is just use ChatGPT to create them. And then you buy them from Porkbun or Dynalot. And I recommend getting the, sorry, the .co or .org, because they happen to always be cheaper than .com. But don't get like .xyz or whatever, because they're just much more like standy and you're just gonna get flagged to spam more. So .co or .org. Next, for the inboxes, what you want to do, the easiest way to set up your inboxes is literally to just go to premiuminboxes.com and have them set it up for you completely. Order 50 inboxes, give them your domains, and they're just going to do everything for you. Because if you try to do it but by yourself, you're literally going to quit cold email. There's nothing more annoying than setting up the DKIM, DMARC, all that stuff. This is just the easiest way to do it. And we're not even partners with them, and I'm still recommending you do it, right? And they basically allow you to get it for like $3 per inbox, whereas Google is like $8. So they probably have a bulk deal with them because they, buy a whole bunch of that. And we also use Google just instead of Outlook. So they only do Google, I believe, but or for the most part, because Outlook is landing as spam right now. That's just how the game is going. So you want to stick to Google. And then the automation platform. So this is basically where you are going to, once you order your inboxes, once you buy your domains, you order your inboxes, they're going to basically plug all of those into a tool that's going to warm up all your inboxes for 2 weeks. So that tool happens to be either Smartlead or Instantly, the ones that you need to use. We recommend any of them. I really don't care. This is just going to be the system that's going to send all the emails, maybe a kind of your like CRM for managing the whole cold email system. But Smartlead maybe has more workflow options. Maybe it's a little bit more robust. So honestly, I would lean towards Smartlead just for the sake of it. And then now that you have basically the emails and you have a way to send the emails, you're going to have to enable warm up on all of your inboxes for 2 weeks before sending any emails. And you can literally just do this, like look up how to warm up domains and inboxes inside Smartly. It's super simple. And this warm up will basically, it's like a system where the platform is going to send emails on your behalf and receive emails and reply and do like a bunch of back and forth so that you can mimic human behavior for 2 weeks. And Google, Microsoft, or like other providers can see that your account is legitimate and they wouldn't flag you as spam once you start sending higher volumes for the most part. So that's kind of the goal with doing the 2 week warm up. It's literally a non-negotiable. You just have to do it. But during those 2 weeks, the best thing about it is you can now start doing your copy and your list building. So for the copy, we work with only marketing agencies, promotional products companies for the most part. So like there's two frameworks we typically use that have just proven to work time and time again. First one is the case study framework. So how you do this is you analyze your past case studies and then you find the one where you just got the company or the client, the most revenue, the most ROI, and also like conversion, sales, all that stuff just means the same thing, right? You just help them get more traffic or leads or whatever. And then you want to lead with that case study in your email because revenue is what all these businesses care about, right? And I'm going to get into this because it's a very key point here. The difference between demand capture and demand generation is with cold email, you're reaching out to prospects who aren't actively seeking your service. So like offering new websites, product launches or audits, they don't generate actual interest because people aren't actively looking for them. You're reaching that, right? So you're going to have to send a much higher volume to find that demand, whereas you can create it as basically all of them with demand generation by basically telling them, hey, we can make you more money because everyone is consistently looking for new ways to make more money, right? So you're going to have a wider pool of people that have an immediate need. And that is exactly what we're looking for. So how do you actually write the copy? Let's say you've analyzed your case studies, you know which case study you got the best results for, you scale the company, whatever. Now, this copy is a very good framework that you can use that we've basically used something similar to before to generate a bunch of leads, and it works well. So hi, first name, saw you're this type of company, and I just thought it made sense to reach out because we recently helped this type of company achieve this result in this time by building a funnel that whatever. Can I share how we can help you achieve something similar? Super simple, right? And then you follow up with, should I send 2-minute video instead, outlining how we can help you just to add more, sauce to it. If they don't want more information, maybe they might want a video. And one follow-up, we're not adding 2 to 3 follow-ups like some people they say, because you just get flagged as spam, right? If they don't reply twice, move on. But anyways, so an example of what this would look like, right? Let's say this is a meta ads agency for IT consultants. So, hey, Adam, saw your IT consulting company, thought we should connect. We recently helped another IT consultant grow from this to this revenue in 4 months using a funnel that generated leads to Meta and then sent them to an education webinar. So it's a few key details from the case study, and then kind of share how we can help you build something similar. So the key notes to take when you're writing your version of this email copy is to adapt the wording to match your ICP. If they're like, home services, you don't want to sound too marketing jargony. But if they're B2B SaaS companies, then obviously maybe you might want to use the words funnel and stuff like that because they pretty much know what that means. So yeah, just be careful of your vocabulary and tonality because that's one that people might get wrong. And then for the second framework, so you write this copy, now write a second one for you to actually split test, because if you want to get really good results, like split test these two versions, and most likely one of them will work if you actually do it properly. So, hi name, so you're this type of company and thought it made sense to reach out. We can help you do this using this unique mechanism. I know this works because I recently helped the company, blah, blah, blah. Can I share more info about how it works? So you're basically saying your case study still, but you're leading more with like a personalized sort of, this is for you rather than this is how we help the similar company. But you're just using the case study as proof. So how you do this, right? You don't want to do it for the same case study. You want to analyze a different case study and then use it for that, because you want to split test both and see which one works best. You might as well make them as different as possible, the two copy frameworks. So just find another case study that you can use this for and focus on the benefits and the mechanisms. So don't focus on like the service. We can help you implement SEO, or we can run your ads for you. No one cares, right? Because everyone can do it, right? Everyone offers all this stuff, but not everyone delivers the results or they have the same approach from that service. So kind of extract what you can from the service that you're actually good at, and then you'll basically get more leads. Now, after all of that, the subject line is what you're going to need next. So now you have your emails, what's going to be a subject line. And I recommend just putting all this on a Google Doc while we kind of move through this. So we just like to make them curiosity driven and look like some sort of just human-based email, not like a marketing email. So quick question, or, generate leads, all that stuff that people are going to open that for the most part, at least by the today's standards. You want to make them curious. So is this fine? Is this okay? Cool. Like just stuff that's super like, hey, like did my cousin send me this email? You know what I mean? Did someone like did an internal team member send it? So you want to build that curiosity and not look like a spammer basically. So that's this one and this one we've kind of used most of the time, and then we use for most clients. So after you write your subject lines, another thing you want to do is spin tags. So you have to give your email copy to ChatGPT and basically ask it to add spin tags to every other word or every word. So what this looks like is it's going to put your words, your email copy into like different brackets. And what this is going to do is create variations. So once you add it to Smartlead or Instantly, I believe for Instantly, you have to change the format a bit, but once you put it in, every email you send is going to have a different variation. So email one might be I can, email number two might be we could, and then this basically mimics human behavior of writing different emails. So Google and Microsoft and other providers also don't mark you as spam. This is getting more and more important as these providers tend to catch a lot of cold email stuff. So this is definitely something that you guys have to kind of implement. But once you do it, make sure to clean it up, because sometimes ChatGPT will make combinations that don't make sense, and then people stop replying to your emails and be like, why this happened? Well, it's because you didn't check. So make sure to check that ChatGPT didn't just make a bunch of dumb combinations, because it will, like, for the most part. And then another thing you want to do to your copy is add a signature. This is basically for cap spam compliance, but also like you don't want to look like a spammer or scammer. So you actually want to add like your name, your title, your company, and then you also want to spin tags this as well, just like we did here with ChatGPT, so that you're not flagged as spam. Now, after you're done with the copy, now you have a system to reach the people. You have the email you're going to send them. You just need the people. And so how to build your lead list is you first need to identify who you're targeting, right? So define your ideal client profile based on these criterias. So look at the case studies that you use to write your copy. So look at the case study from this offer and then the case study from this offer, and then just understand who you closed, who is the decision maker, who is the industry. So if we want to look at the specifics here, it's the industry, the headcount, the location, and the job title. After you sort of identify all of these, what you want to do is go to ChatGPT and give it your ideal client profile, and then just ask it, how do I find these all upon, basically? Give me all the filters I should choose to find this exact ICP. And then what ChatGPT is going to do is it's going to output, use this industry, these keywords, this location, all this stuff, and then how you can do this is you just have to go and find people in Apollo and then apply these filters and then just export the list. It's super simple. And then just follow ChatGPT's instructions for like what filters to add on. Because Apollo, and the reason why we choose Apollo is just because like everyone uses it, and that is for the sole reason that it is the best one. It has the most data, pretty much the most accurate data from what we've seen, and it's literally, you know, the cheapest out of the Zoom Info and all these other guys. So you want to buy a plan, obviously, and then export 5K leads per email copy. So if you wrote copy only for this one, for example, you didn't have like a really good case study or whatever, then just create one list of 5K leads. If you did it for both, then just create 5K for both. Because what 5K is going to do is allow you to send 1 month worth of emails for both campaigns. So you want to get 10K leads overall if you wrote both campaigns. And then you have to verify your list. So after you have your emails here, it's basically going to give you all the decision makers, the company names. It's going to have everything in there about the leads. Once you export it from Apollo, you just need to put it in Bounceban, buy a plan with Bounceban, buy 10,000 credits, and then put it in there. And then it's going to verify your leads just to make sure you don't send emails to invalid emails. Because what that's going to do is you're going to bounce, it's going to bounce back. And then Google's going to be like, oh, this person might be sending automated emails, or they might be spamming, or they might be reaching out to emails that don't exist. And then they're going to mark you as spam even more. So you just need to be careful and verify your list. And then now that you have your list, this is beautiful because now you can just launch and generate the leads. So you have 3 campaign assets ready to deploy by now. You have your infrastructure, which is your warmed up inboxes after 2 weeks. You have your copy. So you have your email scripts with the spin tags, with the signature, with the subject lines. And you also have the follow-ups that we talked about, the one follow-up for each campaign. And you also have your lead list, so 2 verified lists of 5K prospects each. Now all you have to do is just create the campaigns on SmartLead and import all of these assets inside of that so you can launch. So this is a guide. I'm going to leave the doc in the description so you can use this guide. Basically, SmartLead made it so you can kind of like set up a campaign super easily. It's just a few steps. It should take like 2 to 3 minutes. And also make sure to create a separate campaign for the case study copy versus the offer focus copy. So again, if you wrote this one, but you also wrote this one, make sure to create a different campaign so you can analyze the metrics and see, okay, this one got more leads. Let me run to this one and then pause this one. So that's pretty much it. You can test it for like a week, see which one does better, and then cancel the other one. So here are a few bonuses, by the way, after you launch your campaign. So once you launch your campaign, you're going to get a bunch of responses, positive and non-positive. But for the positive ones, you want to turn them, as many of them, into meetings, and you want to decrease the drop-off. So what's going to happen is I want you to set up a Slack webhook. So you can do this on Smartly. You can look up a guide. And then what this is going to do is it's going to basically, whenever you get a lead, it's going to send you a message on Slack so that your team or you can get a notification, be like, okay, cool, let me go and reply right away. Because speed to lead is real. Every time you reply to a lead faster, they're more likely to hop on the call and actually, engage back. But if you give it like 2 weeks, they're basically gone. They're not even lead anymore. And then for response framework, once you get these positive replies, so let's say you get a positive response, you open your Slack notification, cool, let me get a smart lead and start replying. This is what you should use. We've used this before, and it's literally just the easiest way. It's like, okay, sure, would love to share more, because obviously you use the CTA here. This is what the CTA I recommend. Can I share more info? It's soft and it gets people kind of, engaging with your offer, but in a way where they don't have to commit to a call up front. But here is where you can actually ask for the call. So, hey, would love to learn, hey, would love to share more. Here's some more information about our case study or about our offer. Let's hop on a call to discuss this more in depth or share more info, whatever. And then you also leave your calendar link here after recommending 2 times on a certain day. Just make it easier for them to kind of book in, make it very seamless. Some people just send the calendar link, or at least I've heard, and that's not smart because you're basically making them do work to speak to you where you can sell them something. It just doesn't fit. But yeah, that's pretty much it. That's how you set up the email system and book meetings. I hope you guys found this valuable. But if you want to skip all of this, I try to make it simple. But if you want to skip all of this and have us set it up for you, you can book a call at netswith.com. And just a side note, we actually warm call your interested responses. So we reply, yeah, but we can also warm call them, get them more ready to close, and also implement like sequences before the call to send them case studies, testimonials, and kind of build it out as a full funnel for you, not just one lead gen system. So there's a lot we can do with this. If you want us to set that up, you can book a call. If not, you can do it yourself. And I hope you guys found this valuable. But this is really just my learnings from working with around 31 to 32 agencies, something like that. And then we're continuously working with some of them, obviously, and trying to learn. And this is just what we found valuable. So I hope you found it valuable as well. And yeah, enjoy the rest of your day. Peace.